Well, I'd always thought I wanted to be an artist from really a young age. I don't know. I was lucky or whatever it is. And so I painted all through high school, and then when we were going out, and going to North Beach and sitting on a street corner painting a downhill. Artist, that's painter, and sculpture, that's, oh, what's that? That's art too, okay. Oh, the best thing that's ever happened to me was going to art school, and the teachers I had, with a few exceptions, were just academicians left over from the war, but I learned color and design. I mean, they really pushed that constantly. And so, although I don't think I'm an expert in color, what I do know now and what I appreciate is the knowledge I brought from that.
We knew each other in high school, and but didn't date until a year or two after high school. Dated for a while and then sort of drifted apart, and then a couple of years later we started dating again. I was driving by his grandmother's house one day, and I thought, oh gee, I wonder what Gary's doing. I hadn't seen him in a few years, and just knocked on the door, and he was there, and we went out to a movie, and we started dating seriously and got married in 1960. And he had, during the course of our dating in that, he had sort of made a decision to go to art school. And so he started at California College of Arts and Crafts in Oakland then. He went as a painter and then discovered the sculpture studio, and that sort of captivated him, although he was still seriously involved in painting courses. And then in addition to that, he started sculpting. So he has a little bit of early on experience there.
I don't know what motivated me to make this. But it's a damn good drawing. I do like the eyes and the eyebrows, I think. And it looks just like me. Most of my painting was done close to leaving art school, so I had that influence. California realists, Park, Bischoff, all those guys. So, yeah. They're just takeoffs on what was popular. Later on, I got a little more stylized, and I don't know, a little more storytelling maybe. But painting, I used painting even when I was making furniture full time. Once in a while I'd take a break because I could just quit thinking about, you just get overloaded. When you're working 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, you're full. So I could paint or make jewelry. That was the other thing. But yeah, it's hard to tie all this stuff together with what I, mainly am known for, because, this painting over here has maybe some impact on a piece of furniture over here. But it's hard to say, oh, well, I remember doing that painting and I really wanted to make it a piece of furniture. No, it's just, I can use that talent in the furniture. If I have a talent in painting, that's a big question. But certainly color, back to color. Boy, chairs, yeah, I since then I've made our house in Alameda not burned down, but it was, ended up about $1.5 million to rebuild it. So I came over here and I had to keep busy, so I thought, oh, chairs. So I started making chairs, And I'd made a couple, you know, before this, and found them difficult in a way, but it wasn't a passion. But I just decided to do chairs, and I did a lot of riffs on Refeld and, you know, all the names of old chairs and that.
Frank Lloyd Wrong.
Yeah, Frank Lloyd Wrong, yeah, that's a good title. When the house finally got finished, I ended up with, geez, about 120 chairs, I think, something like that. You know, when you're working, and I'm known as a very prolific worker, and I worked 7 days a week up until about 2 years ago, and I retired, and I only work 6 days a week. That's my own little joke. All my work, most of it comes apart, so I can change as I go along, and I do a lot of changing. And then when you glue it up, then you're done, you're cooked. But I could fabricate the aluminum. I didn't do any welding. I've done, other than gas welding on steel, and a little bit of arc welding. I haven't done much welding. So I found with the aluminum, I could fabricate it. You know, I could make a chest and drill it, thread it, and tap it, and screw it together, and God, you really got something strong. I think an example is the Boston knee hole, which is now in the Smithsonian, and I used rosewood, aluminum, color core, bricks, yeah,
Glass.
and glass, and it, good piece, real strong. As I told you when I went to art school, if I remembered this stuff, it has become intuitive, but I'm always using principles that I believe I learned at Arts and Crafts and design. And the design was mainly design, drawing and painting, but those designs carry through to three-dimensional work too. It's just, you know, just using the right colors or using the right shapes. It's, you know, it's, I can't explain it, you know, I mean, I don't know. I can't say, oh yes, I designed this, but that's on paper. I don't think I need it. Now, many people would probably say, you sure didn't learn it, you need something, but those guys don't like me anyway. And I just, so I have some, like, the only way I can describe it is an isometric brain. So as I'm working on one piece, I kind of know what I want to do. There, you know, a piece of work is constantly in flux, but I know what this piece is going to be, so I'm thinking of another piece. And another thing I really miss not working, I haven't done anything in 2 years because of some health issues. And what I really, really miss is at night going to sleep, because I can go to sleep thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. And that was just a joy. You know, a color that I was going to try, or what piece of wood goes where, or is there a drawer there? So I really miss that.
Going back to your basic roots, starting with going into formal study for painting and drawing and all of that, can we sort of pull a thread forward to how it continues to influence your work? But your foremost interest initially, correct, was painting?
You hang on painting, in a way I don't know if it's painting or not, it's just the use of color. My painting, I think, in most instances, is just relying on color to do something to the object, to help it out. But the painting is just, it is a painting, it's an abstract design. People in the furniture thing, they don't have any training in color, so they just throw on a color. And that right now, referencing back to that, it kind of looks like, hey man, this looks really good red. And that's what it is. I don't know why I painted it red. Sometimes I repaint.
Yeah, many times.
There's that chair over there. I've repainted many times, and I really like the colors.
And then again, you've used the elements of color and shadow, really create almost additional painting on a surface. When you get that play of light, your eyes are trained to really look for balance and perspective, and
well, yeah.
because you turn your pieces around, they're interesting from all angles. It isn't a one-dimensional. I mean, it's your work has a whole different concept to it, really.
Well, I guess some people draw well, but when you see somebody drawing something, it's really is a two-dimensional thing. When they're drawing a piece of furniture, when they make drawings that'll show it in another dimension, the three-quarter view, but they're drawing, the front, the side, and the back with the measurements. I don't. I just let it all ride. And the way I put things together, I can change things really rapidly. So, yeah, it's really, it's hard talking about this stuff because I've never thought about it.
Yeah, well, and it really doesn't need explaining, but it sort of does, because it's helpful information for people that are trying to understand things or see things. If they don't visualize in the same way, it's a learning process, and it's very helpful to hear how someone else approaches work. I love hearing how other artists approach their work, or makers approach their work. It really is very informative.
Yeah.
And often you use texture with color it serves as texture, but it's actually flat color, like the checkerboard surfaces on this one.
Yeah.
And then that one too has the painted rear, which
hardly has anything to do in a way with color.
Mm-hmm.
You've just got to make sure you get the color right. But it's just a painted design. It's not, it's not saying, hey man, here's color and here's how well I use it. That's not it. It's just, checkerboard especially, unless you get to the dark squares, can be neutral, or it's such a strong pattern that it could probably take over a piece, and you may not want that. This is all, so much of this is subjective to my way of thinking. And people want to put meaning in everything, which is, oh God, Rothko, or this is it's very frustrating trying to explain this. It's like sitting down with Dostoevsky and having him explain something. It'd drive you goddamn crazy. Wendell and I are pretty much peers, and I think Wendell is probably the best that's ever come along, and will come along in quite a while. So I always admired Wendell's work, but I never copied it or used any of it. I mean, he was just a lot better than I am at really making something perfect, his trompe l'oeil work and stuff like that. But one thing Wendell and I had in common, we were very good friends. And I remember one day we were sitting here in the living room over there, and a couple of things because I'd like to get a plug in for Wendell. Everybody thought he was snooty, snobby. And after knowing him for a while, I realized he wasn't. He was a pretty shy man. So that can come off as all kind of uppity, but he was a very shy man. And we both realized we should only paint for fun.
When I saw Wendell's work, when I really got to know Wendell's work, and knew him and how he worked in that, I realized how similar in my mind the way he approached his work was to Garry, in that both of them, I feel, really push the envelope. They're fearless. They just really go after something they're looking for, and there is a commitment there that they don't care, but they're going to resolve these issues for themselves. And I always looked at Wendell as being really gutsy, and I mean, he did some kind of clunky stuff, some magnificent stuff, but he wasn't afraid to go for it. And I think that's such an amazing ability. And Garry's the same way, in that it seems to me that he's constantly setting up these unwritten challenges to really keep himself. It's a self-motivation type of thing where, I know I can do that, but I know I can make that line better. I know that I can resolve this issue better. It's very exciting to see their work.
I would like to be put in the same category as Wendell. I think I'm a notch or two behind him, but I don't think anybody's at Wendell's level. Well, a piece of wood that has a shape to it, it's just your building. Yeah. So you're just building on something, and that would be maybe an idea, but I really don't think I build anything from an idea. It's a vision.
He follows threads, something will kick it off. His whole goal is pushing the edges, just always seeing how far he can take something and where he can take it. So it's unexpected, it's not planned, but he'll go with something, and if it really is inspiring, he'll do a lot of it, and he'll start exploring it. It takes on its own life, and he just sort of follows and pushes, as he goes. That's kind of been his approach, that I've observed all the way through.
I guess you know me a little bit after 60 some odd years.
There's a famous saying among artists and makers is that every one of them needs a wife. Male or female, you need a wife, or that classic someone to take care of the stuff. And that's what I try to do. I don't like it either, but I don't. Well, he just dictates and I translate for, his correspondence and stuff. But I can do it. It's something that I'm facile with. I hate it, but I can do it. And Garry hates it and can't do it. So there you are. It's a shared responsibility. He's because I support what he does. Always have. My feeling is that as much as you can keep together, because if things dissipate and just go away, I mean, there's work left, but there's no history behind it, and it makes it much more interesting if you know the history of something, if you can sort of show it from beginning to end. I get calls, not frequently, but over the years, it's been great having the information at hand. Now stuff is, thank God it's in the cloud now. It's somewhere other than here. But yeah, so archiving is a big relief in many ways. I do fear not having this stuff at hand, but better off there than not at all.
And Sylvia wanted me to talk about names.
Oh yeah.
So I paint under Ambrose Pilfister, and I make jewelry under Geraldo Benucci, and then furniture under GKB. Yeah, one other thing that really kept it going was commission work, which I've only done about 3 in my life, and the ones that I did, if I made a commission, took a commission from somebody, I didn't want any money down. They didn't know what they were getting. If they wanted a table, they were getting a table, or a lamp, they were getting a lamp. But I'll make this for you. Because what I was doing is making it for myself, and if they liked it, they could pay me. Precious art I do not make, but I'd like,
Are you happy with what you've accomplished?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's nothing else I want to accomplish other than to be able to work again, but that ain't going to happen. I'm called an artist, and it's flattering, but I think I see myself as a furniture maker. If I can say it's satisfaction.
Yes.
And
More than a precious art.
I'm just, when I do a piece that I think is good, I'm really satisfied.